Well, I think that's the whole show.
It's really amazing. I haven't taken half of it in, you know?
Would you like to go over any of it again?
No, thank you. Not now. I'm quite done up for this morning.
Tired of listening to sounds?
Yes. It's a fearful strain. I rather fancied myself because I can pronounce 24 distinct vowel sounds. But your 130 beat me. I can't hear a bit of difference between most of them.
Oh, that comes with practice. You hear no difference at first, but you keep on listening and presently you find they're all as different as A from B. What's the matter?
A young woman wants to see you, sir.
A young woman? What does she want?
Well, sir, she says you'll be glad to see her when you know what she's come about. She's quite a common girl, sir. Very common indeed. I should have sent her away. Only I thought perhaps you wanted her to talk into your machines. I hope I've not done wrong, but really, you see such queer people sometimes. You'll excuse me, I'm sure, sir.
Oh, that's all right, Miss Pierce. Has she an interesting accent?
Oh, something dreadful, sir, really. I don't know how you can take an interest in it.
Let's have her up. Show her up, Miss Pierce.
Very well, sir. It's for you to say.
This is rather a bit of luck. I'll show you how I make records. We'll set her talking, and I'll take it down first in Belle's visible speech, then in broad Romic, and then we'll hear her on the phonograph so that you can turn her on as often as you like with the written transcript before you.
This is the young woman, sir.
Why, this is the girl I jotted down last night. She's no use. I've got all the records I want of that Lisbon Grove lingo, and I'm not going to waste another cylinder on it. Be off with you, I don't want you.
Oh, you be so saucy. You ain't heard what I called for yet. Do you tell him I called me a taxi?
Nonsense, girl. What do you think a gentleman like Mr. Higgins cares when you came in?
Oh, we are proud. He ain't above giving lessons, not him. I heard him say so. Well, I ain't come here to ask for any compliment. And if my money's not good enough, I can go elsewhere.
Good enough for what?
Good enough for you. Now you know, don't ya? I come to have lessons, I am. And to pay for them too. Make no mistake.
Well, what do you expect me to say to you?
Well, if you was a gentleman, you might ask me to sit down, I think. Don't I take you and bring you business?
Pickering, shall we ask this baggage to sit down, or shall we throw her out of the window?
Oh, I won't be called a baggage where I have offered to pay like any lady. What is it you want, my girl? I want to be a lady in a flower shop, still selling at the corner of Tottenham Court Road. But they won't take me unless I can talk more genteel. He said he could teach me. Well, here I am, ready to pay him. Not asking any favour, and he treats me as if I was dirt.
How can you be such a foolish, ignorant girl as to think you could afford to pay Mr. Higgins?
Well, sure, and I know what lessons cost as well as you do, and I'm ready to pay.
How much?
Now we're talking. I thought you'd come off it when you saw a chance of getting back a bit where you choked me at last night. You'd had a drop in, hadn't you?
Sit down.
Oh, if you're going to make a compliment of it.
Sit down.
Sit down, girl. Do as you're told.
Aye, won't you sit down? Don't mind if I do.
What's your name?
Lasse Doolittle.
Eliza, Elizabeth, Betsy, and Bess. They went to the woods to get a bird's nest.
They found the nest with 4 eggs in it.
They took one apiece and left 3 in it.
Oh, don't be silly.
You mustn't speak to the gentleman like that.
Well, why won't you speak sensible to me?
Come back to business. How much do you propose to pay me for the lessons?
I know what's right. A lady friend of mine gets French lessons for 6 pence an hour for a real French gentleman. Well, you wouldn't have the face to ask me the same for teaching me my own language as you would for French, so I won't get more than a shilling. Take it or leave it.
You know, Pickering, if you consider a shilling not as a simple shilling, but as a percentage of this girl's income, it works out as fully equivalent to 60 or 70 guineas from a millionaire.
How so?
Figure it out. A millionaire has about £150 a day. She earns about half a crown.
Who told sure you are, Ollie.
She offers me 2/5 of her day's income for a lesson. 2/5 of a millionaire's income for a day would be somewhere about £60. It's handsome, by George, it's enormous. It's the biggest offer I've ever had.
£60? What are you talking about? And they offer you £60? Where will I get?
Hold your tongue.
Well, I ain't got £60. Oh,
Don't cry, you silly girl. Sit down. Nobody's going to touch your money.
Somebody's going to touch you with a broomstick if you don't stop sniveling. Sit down.
oh, one would think you was my father.
If I decide to teach you, I'll be worse than two fathers to you. Here,
What's this for?
to wipe your eyes, to wipe any part of your face that feels moist. Remember, that's your handkerchief, and that's your sleeve. Don't mistake the one for the other if you wish to become a lady in a shop.
It's no use talking to her like that, Mr. Higgins. She doesn't understand you. Besides, you're quite wrong. She doesn't do it that way at all.
Here, you give me that handkerchief. He gave it to me, not you. He did. I think it must be regarded as her property, Mrs. Pierce.
Serve you right, Mr. Higgins.
Higgins, I'm interested. What about the ambassador's garden party? I'll say you're the greatest teacher alive if you make that good. I'll bet you all the expenses of the experiment you can't do it. And I'll pay for the lessons. You're real cool. Thank you, Captain.
It's almost irresistible. She is so deliciously low, so horribly dirty.
I ain't dirty. I wash my face and hands before I come. I did. You're certainly not going to turn her head with flattery, Higgins.
Oh, don't say that, sir. There's more ways than one of turning a girl's head, and nobody can do it better than Mr. Higgins, though he may not always mean it. I do hope, sir, you won't encourage him to do anything foolish.
What is life but a series of inspired follies? The difficulty is to find them to do. Never lose a chance, it doesn't come every day. I shall make a duchess of this draggle-tailed gutter-snipe. Yes, in 6 months. In 3, if she has a good ear and a quick tongue, I'll take her anywhere and pass her off as anything. We'll start today, now, this moment. Take her away and clean her, Miss Pierce. Monkey brand if it won't come off any other way. Is there a good fire in the kitchen?
Yes, but
Take all her clothes off and burn them. Ring up Whitley or somebody for new ones. Wrap her up in brown papers till they come.
You're no gentleman. You're not. To talk of such things. I'm a good girl, I am. And I know what a lacker you are. I do.
We want none of your Listen Grove prudery here, young woman. You've got to learn to behave like a duchess. Take her away, Miss Pierce. If she gives you any trouble, wallop her.
No, I'll call the police. I will.
I've no place to put her.
Put her in the dustbin.
Oh, come, Higgins. Be reasonable.
You must be reasonable, Mr. Higgins. Really, you must. You can't walk over everybody like this.
I walk over everybody. My dear Miss Pierce, my dear Pickering, I never had the slightest intention of walking over anyone. All I propose is that we should be kind to this poor girl. We must help her to prepare and fit herself for her new station in life. If I did not express myself clearly, it was because I did not wish to hurt her delicacy, or yours.
Well, did you ever hear anything like that, sir?
Never, Miss Pierce. Never.
What's the matter?
Well, the matter is, sir, that you can't take a girl up like that as if you were picking up a pebble on the beach.
Why not?
Why not? But you don't know anything about her. What about her parents? She may be married.
Gone.
There, as the girl very properly says, gone. Married indeed. Don't you know that a woman of that class looks a worn-out drudge of 50 a year after she's married?
What, marry me?
By George, Eliza, the street will be strewn with the bodies of men shooting themselves for your sake before I've done with you.
Nonsense, sir. You mustn't talk like that to her.
I'm going away. He's off his chum, he is. I don't want no bummies teaching me.
Oh, indeed. I'm mad, am I? Very well, Miss Pierce. You needn't order the new clothes for her. Throw her out.
Nah. Oh, you got no right to touch me.
You see now what comes of being saucy. This way, please.
I didn't want no clothes. I wouldn't have taken them. I can buy my own clothes.
You're an ungrateful, wicked girl. This is my return for offering to take you out of the gutter and dress you beautifully and make a lady of you?
Stop, Mr. Higgins. I won't allow it. It's you that are wicked. Go home to your parents, girl, and tell them to take better care of you.
I ain't got no parents. They told me I was big enough to earn me own living and turned me out.
Where's your mother?
I ain't got no mother. Here that turned me out was my sixth stepmother. What I've done without them. And I'm good girl, I am.
Very well then, what on earth is all this fuss about? This girl doesn't belong to anybody, is no use to anybody but me. You can adopt her, Miss Pierce. I am sure a daughter would be a great amusement to you. Now, don't make any more fuss. Take her downstairs and...
What's to become of her? Is she to be paid anything? Do be sensible, sir.
Oh, pay her whatever is necessary. Put it down in the housekeeping book. What on earth will she want with money? She'll have her food and her clothes. She'll only drink if you give her money.
Oh, you are a brute. It's a lie. Nobody ever saw the sign of liquor on me. Does it occur to you, Higgins, that the girl has some feelings?
Oh, no. I don't think so. Not any feelings that we need bother about. Have you, Eliza?
I got me feelings, same as anyone else.
You see the difficulty.
Huh? What difficulty?
To get her to talk grammar. The mere pronunciation is easy enough.
I don't want to talk grammar. I want to talk like a lady.
Will you please keep to the point, Mr. Higgins? I want to know on what terms the girl is to be here. Is she to have any wages? And what is to become of her when you finish your teaching? You must look ahead a little.
What's to become of her if I leave her in the gutter? Tell me that, Miss Pierce.
That's her own business, not yours, Mr. Higgins.
Well, when I'm done with her, we can throw her back into the gutter. And then it will be her own business again, so that's all right.
You've no fair heart in you. You don't care for nothing but yourself. Eh, I've had enough of this. I'm going. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you ought.
Have some chocolates, Eliza.
How do I know what might be in them? I've heard of girls being drugged by the lucky, yeah?
Pledge of good faith, Eliza. I eat one half, you eat the other. You shall have boxes of them, barrels of them every day. You shall live on them, eh?
I wouldn't have ate it, only I'm too late, lad, to take it out of my mouth.
Listen, Eliza, I think you said you came in a taxi.
Well, what if I did? I've as good a right to take a taxi as anyone else.
You have, Eliza, and in future you shall have as many taxis as you want. You shall go up and down and round the town in a taxi every day. Think of that, Eliza.
Mr. Higgins, you're tempting the girl. It's not right. She should think of the future.
At her age? Nonsense. Time enough to think of the future when you haven't any future to think of. No, Eliza, do as this lady does. Think of other people's futures, but never think of your own. Think of chocolates and taxis and gold and diamonds.
No, I don't want no gold and no diamonds. I'm a good girl, I am.
You shall remain so, Eliza, under the care of Miss Pierce, and you shall marry an officer in the guards with a beautiful moustache, the son of a marquis, who will disinherit him for marrying you, but will relent when he sees your beauty and goodness.
Excuse me, Higgins, but I really must interfere. Mrs. Pierce is quite right. If this girl is to put herself in your hands for 6 months for an experiment in teaching, she must understand thoroughly what she's doing.
How can she? She's incapable of understanding anything. Besides, do any of us understand what we are doing? If we did, would we ever do it?
Very clever, Higgins, but not sound sense. Miss Doolittle? Oh, where?
That's all you'll get out of Eliza. Oh, no use explaining. As a military man, you ought to know that. Give her her orders. That's enough for her. Eliza, you are to live here for the next 6 months, learning how to speak beautifully, like a lady in a florist's shop. If you are good and do whatever you're told, you shall sleep in a proper bedroom, and have lots to eat and money to buy chocolates and take rides in taxis. If you're naughty and idle, you will sleep in the back kitchen amongst the black beetles and be walloped by Miss Pierce with a broomstick. At the end of 6 months, you shall go to Buckingham Palace in a carriage, beautifully dressed. If the king finds out you're not a lady, you will be taken by the police to the Tower of London. where your head will be cut off as a warning to other presumptuous flower girls. If you are not found out, you shall have a present of 7 and 6pence to start a life with as a lady in a shop. If you refuse this offer, you will be a most ungrateful, wicked girl, and the angels will weep for you. Now, are you satisfied, Pickering? Can I put it more plainly and fairly, Mrs. Pierce?
I think you'd better let me speak to the girl properly in private. I don't know that I can take charge of her or consent to the arrangement at all. Of course, I know you don't mean her any harm. But when you get what you call interested in people's accents, you never think or care what may happen to them or you. Come with me, Eliza.
That's all right. Thank you, Mrs. Pierce. Bundle her off to the bathroom.
You're a great bully, you are. I won't stay if I don't like. I won't let nobody wallet me. I never asked to go to Buckingham Palace. I didn't. I was never in trouble with the police. Not me. I'm a good girl.
Don't answer back, girl. You don't understand the gentleman. Come with me.
Well, what I said is right. I won't go near the king. Not if I'm going to have me head cut off. If I'd known what I was laying myself in for, I wouldn't have come here. I've always been a good girl, and I never offered to say a word to him, and I don't owe him nothing, and I don't care, and I won't be put upon, and I have my feelings the same as anyone else.
Excuse the straight question, Higgins. Are you a man of good character where women are concerned?
Have you ever met a man of good character where women are concerned?
Yes, very frequently.
Well, I haven't. I find that the moment I let a woman make friends with me, she becomes jealous, exacting, suspicious, and a damned nuisance. I find that the moment I let myself make friends with a woman, I become selfish and tyrannical. Women upset everything. When you let them into your life, you find that the woman is driving at one thing and you're driving at another.
At what, for example?
Oh, Lord knows. I suppose the woman wants to live her own life and the man wants to live his, and each tries to drag the other onto the wrong track. One wants to go north and the other south, and the result is that both have to go east, though they both hate the east wind. So here I am, a confirmed old bachelor, and likely to remain so.
Come, Higgins. You know what I mean. If I'm to be in this business, I shall feel responsible for that girl. I hope it's understood that no advantage is to be taken of her position.
What, that thing? Sacred, I assure you. You see, she'll be a pupil, and teaching would be impossible unless pupils were sacred. I've taught scores of American millionairesses how to speak English, the best-looking women in the world. I'm seasoned. They might as well be blocks of wood. I might as well be a block of wood. It's... Well, Mrs. Pierce, is it all right?
I just wish to trouble you with a word, if I may, Mr. Higgins.
Yes, certainly. Come in. Don't burn that, Mrs. Pierce. I'll keep it as a curiosity.
Handle it carefully, sir, please. I had to promise her not to burn it, but I had better put it in the oven for a while.
Oh, thank you. Well, what have you to say to me?
Am I in the way?
Not at all, sir. Mr. Higgins, will you please be very particular what you say before the girl?
Of course, I'm always particular about what I say. Why do you say this to me?
No, sir. You're not at all particular when you've mislaid anything, or when you get a little impatient. Now it doesn't matter before me. I'm used to it, but you really must not swear before the girl.
I swear? I never swear. I detest the habit. What the devil do you mean?
That's what I mean, sir. You swear a great deal too much. I don't mind your damning and blasting and what the devil and where the devil and who the devil.
Really, Mrs. Pierce, this language from your lips...
But there is a certain word I must ask you not to use. The girl has just used it herself because the bath was too hot. It begins with the same letter as bath. She knows no better. She learned it at her mother's knee. But she must not hear it from your lips.
I cannot charge myself with having ever uttered it, Mrs. Pierce. Except perhaps in a moment of extreme and justified excitement.
Only this morning, sir. You applied it to your boots, to the butter, and to the brown bread.
Oh, that. Mere alliteration, Mrs. Pierce, natural to a poet.
Well, sir, whatever you choose to call it, I beg you not to let the girl hear you repeat it.
Oh, very well, very well. Is that all?
No, sir. We shall have to be very particular with this girl as to personal cleanliness.
Certainly, quite right. Most important.
I mean, not to be slovenly about her dress, or untidy in leaving things about.
Just so. I intended to call your attention to that. It is these little things that matter, Pickering. Take care of the pence and the pounds will take care of themselves. It's as true of personal habits as of money.
Yes, sir. Then might I ask you not to come down to breakfast in your dressing gown, or at any rate not to use it as a napkin to the extent you do, sir. And if you would be so good as not to eat everything off the same plate, and to remember not to put the porridge saucepan out of your hand on the clean tablecloth, it would be a better example to the girl. You know you nearly choked yourself with a fishbone in the jam only last week.
I may do these things sometimes in absence of mind, but surely I don't do them habitually. By the way, my dressing gown smells most damnably of benzene.
No doubt it does, Mr. Higgins. But if you will wipe your fingers...
Oh, very well, very well. I'll wipe them in my hand, future.
I hope you're not offended, Mr. Higgins.
Not at all, not at all. You're quite right, Mrs. Pierce. I shall be particularly careful before the girl. Is that all?
No, sir. Might she use some of those Japanese dresses you brought from abroad? I really can't put her back into her old things.
Certainly, anything you like. Is that all?
Thank you, sir. That's all.
You know, Pickering, that woman has the most extraordinary ideas about me. Here I am, a shy, diffident sort of man. I've never been able to feel really grown up and tremendous like other chaps. And yet she's firmly persuaded that I'm an arbitrary, overbearing, bossing kind of person. I can't account for it.
If you please, sir, the trouble's beginning already. There's a dustman downstairs, Alfred Doolittle, wants to see you. He says you have his daughter here.
I say.
Send the blackguard up.
Oh, very well, sir.
He may not be a blackguard, Higgins.
Nonsense, of course he is a blackguard.
Whether he is or not, I'm afraid we shall have some trouble with him.
Oh no, I think not. If there's any trouble he shall have it with me, not I with him. And we are sure to get something interesting out of him.
About the girl?
No, I mean his dialect.
Oh.
Doolittle, sir.
Professor Higgins.
Here. Good morning, sit down.
Morning, Governor. I come about a very serious matter, Governor.
Brought up in Hounslow, Mother Welsh, I should think. What do you want, Doolittle?
I want my daughter. That's what I want. See?
I'm glad to see you have some sparks of family feeling left. She's upstairs, take her away at once.
What?
Take her away. Do you suppose I'm going to keep your daughter for you?
Now, look here, Governor. Is this reasonable? Is it fair to take advantage of a man like this? Girl belongs to me. You go her. Where do I come in?
Your daughter had the audacity to come to my house and ask me to teach her how to speak properly so that she could get a place in a flower shop. This gentleman and my housekeeper have been here all the time. How dare you come here and attempt to blackmail me? You sent her here on purpose.
No, Governor.
You must have. How else could you possibly know that she is here?
Don't take a man up like that, Governor.
The police shall take you up. This is a plant, a plot to extort money by threats. I shall telephone for the police.
Have I asked you for a brass farthing? I leave it to the gentleman here. Have I said a word about money?
What else did you come for?
Well, what will a man come for? Be human, Governor.
Alfred, did you put her up to it?
So help me, Governor. It never did. I take my Bible oath I ain't seen the girl this 2 months past.
Then how did you know she was here?
I'll tell you, Governor, if you only let me get a word in. I'm willing to tell you. I'm wanting to tell you. I'm waiting to tell you.
Pickering, this chap has a certain natural gift of rhetoric. Observe the rhythm of his native wood notes wild. I am willing to tell you, I'm wanting to tell you, I'm waiting to tell you. Sentimental rhetoric, that's the Welsh strain in him. It also accounts for his mendacity and dishonesty.
Oh, please, Higgins. I'm West Country myself. How did you know the girl was here if you didn't send her?
It was like this, Governor. The girl took a boy in the taxi to give him a John. Son of a landlady, he is. He hung about the chance of her giving him another ride home. Well, she's hanging back for her luggage when she heard you was willing for her to stop here. I met the boy at the corner of Long Acre and Endell Street.
Public house, yes?
The poor man's club, Governor. Why shouldn't I?
Do let him tell his story, Higgins.
He told me what was up, and I asked her what was my feelings and my duty as a father. I says to the boy, you bring me the luggage, just says.
Why didn't you go for it yourself?
Landlady wouldn't have trusted me with it, Governor. She's the kind of woman, you know. I had to give the boy a penny before he trusted me with it, the little swine. I brought it to her just to oblige you, like, and made myself agreeable. That's all.
How much luggage?
Musical instruments, Governor. A few pictures, a trifle of jewelry, and a bird cage. She said she didn't want no clothes. What was I to think from that, Governor? I ask you as a parent, what was I to think?
So you came to rescue her from worse than death, eh?
Just so, Governor. That's right.
But why did you bring her luggage if you intended to take her away?
Have I said a word about taking her away? Have I now?
You're going to take her away double quick.
No, Governor, don't say that. I'm not the man to stand in my girl's life. Here's a career opening for her, as you might say, and...
Mrs. Pierce, this is Eliza's father. He has come to take her away. Give her to him.
No, this is a misunderstanding. Listen here.
He can't take her away, Mr. Higgins. How can he? You told me to burn her clothes.
That's right. I can carry the girl through the streets like a blooming monkey, can I? I put it to you.
You have put it to me that you want your daughter. Take your daughter. If she has no clothes, go out and buy her some.
Where's the clothes she come in? Did I burn them or did you miss this here?
I am the housekeeper, if you please. I have sent for some clothes for your girl. When they come, you can take her away. You can wait in the kitchen. This way, please.
Listen here, Governor. You and me is men of the world, ain't we?
Oh, men of the world, are we? You'd better go, Mrs. Pierce.
I think so, indeed, sir.
The floor is yours, Mr. Doolittle.
I thank you, Governor. Well, the truth is, I've taken a sort of fancy to you, Governor. And if you want the girl, I'm not so set on having her back home again. But while I might be open to an arrangement, regarding the light of a young woman, she's a fine, handsome girl. As a daughter, she's not worth her keep. And so I tell you straight, all I ask is my rights as a father, and you're the last man alive to expect me to let her go for nothing. For I can see you're one of the stray sort, Governor. Well, what's a £5 note to you? And what's Eliza to me?
I think you ought to know, Doolittle, that Mr. Higgins's intentions are entirely honourable.
Course they are, Governor. If I thought they wasn't, I'd ask 50.
Do you mean to say that you would sell your daughter for £50?
Not in a general way, I wouldn't. But to oblige a gentleman like you, I'd do a good deal. I do assure you.
Have you no morals, man?
Can't afford them, Governor. Neither could you if you was as poor as me. Not that I mean any harm, you know. But if Liza is going to have a bit out of this, why not me too?
I don't know what to do, Pickering. There can be no question that as a matter of morals, it's a positive crime to give this chap a farthing. And yet I feel a sort of rough justice in his claim.
That's it, Governor. That's all I say. A father's heart, as it were.
Well, I know the feeling, but really it seems hardly right.
Don't say that, Governor. Don't look at it that way. What am I, governors both? I ask you, what am I? I'm one of the undeserving poor. That's what I am. Think of what that means to a man. It means that he's up against middle-class morality all the time. If there's anything going, and I put in for a bit of it, it's always the same story. You're undeserving, so you can have it. But my niece is as great as the most deserving widows that's ever got money out of 6 different charities in 1 week for the death of the same husband. I don't need less than a deserving man. I need more. I don't eat less hearty than him, and I drink a lot more. I want a bit of amusement, 'cause I'm a thinking man. I want cheerfulness of a song and a band when I feel low. Well, they charge me just the same for everything as they charge the deserving. What is middle-class morality? Just an excuse for never giving me anything. Therefore, I ask you as 2 gentlemen not to play that game on me. I'm playing straight with you. I ain't pretending to be deserving. I'm undeserving, and I mean to go on being undeserving. I like it, and that's the truth. Will you take advantage of a man's nature to do him out of the price of his own daughter, whilst he's brought up and fed and clothed by the sweat of his brow, until she's grown big enough to be interesting to you 2 gentlemen? Is £5 unreasonable? I put it to you, and I leave it to you.
Pickering, if we were to take this man in hand for 3 months, he could choose between a seat in the cabinet and a popular pulpit in Wales.
What do you say to that, Doolittle?
Not me, Governor. Thank you kindly. I've heard all the preachers and all the prime ministers, for I'm a thinking man, and game for politics or religion or social reform same as all the other amusements. And I tell you, it's all a dog's life any way you look at it. Undeserving poverty is my line. Taking one station in society with another, it's It's the only one that has any ginger in it, to my taste.
I suppose we must give him a fiver.
He'll make a bad use of it, I'm afraid.
Not me, Governor. So help me, I won't. Don't you be afraid that I'll save it and spare it and leave idle on it. There won't be a penny of it left by Monday. I have to go to work same as if I'd never had it. It won't pauperize me, you bet. Just want to go spree for myself and the missus, giving pleasure to yourselves and employment to others, and satisfaction to you to think it's not being thrown away. You couldn't spend it better.
This is irresistible. Let's give him 10.
No, Governor. She wouldn't have the heart to spend 10. And perhaps I shouldn't either. £10 is a lot of money. It makes a man feel prudent like, and then goodbye to happiness. You give me what I ask ye, Governor. Not a penny more, and not a penny less.
Why don't you marry this missus of yours? I rather draw the line at encouraging that sort of immorality.
Tell her so, Governor. Tell her so. I'm willing. It's me that suffers by it. I've no hold on her. I've got to be agreeable to her. I've got to give her presents. I've got to buy her clothes, something sinful. I'm a slave to that woman, Governor, just because I'm not her lawful husband. And she knows it too. Catch her, marry me. Take my advice, Governor. Marry Liza while she's young and don't know no better. If you don't, you'll be sorry for it after. If you do, she'll be sorry for it after. But better you than her, because you're a man and she's only a woman and don't know how to be happy anyhow.
Pickering. If we'll listen to this man another minute, we shall have no convictions left. £5, I think you said.
Thank you kindly, Governor.
You're sure you won't take 10?
Not now. Not the time, Governor.
Here you are.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning. Beg pardon, miss.
God, do you know your own daughter?
Blimey, it's Eliza.
What's that? This?
By Jove, do I look silly?
Silly?
Now, Mr. Higgins, please don't say anything to make the girl conceited about herself.
Oh, quite right, Mrs. Pierce. Yes, damned silly.
Please, sir.
I mean, extremely silly.
I should look all right with my hat on.
A new fashion, by George, and it ought to look horrible.
Well, I never thought she'd clean up as good as looking as that, Governor. She's a credit to me, ain't she?
I tell you, it's easy to clean up here. All in cool water on top, just as much as you like this. Oh, the towel's this, and the towel holds so hot, it burns your fingers. Soft brushes to scrub yourself, and that wooden bowl smell like primroses. Now I know what lace is so clean. Washing the trees for them. Wish they saw what it is for the like of me.
I'm glad the bathroom met with your approval.
It didn't. Not all of it. I don't care who hears me say it. Mrs. Pierce knows.
What was wrong, Mrs. Pierce?
Oh, nothing, sir. It doesn't matter.
I had a good mind to break it. I didn't know which way to look, but I hung a towel over it. I did.
Over what?
Over the looking glass, sir.
Dolittle, you have brought your daughter up too strictly.
Me? I never brought her up at all, except to give her a lick of a strap now and again. Don't put it on me, Governor. She ain't accustomed to it. You see, that's all. But she'll soon pick up your free and easy ways.
I'm a good girl, I am. And I won't pick up no free and easy ways.
Eliza, if you say again that you're a good girl, your father shall take you home.
Not him. You don't know me, father. All he come here for was to talk shit his own mind, to get drunk on.
Well, what else would I want money for? To put into the plate in the church, I suppose. Don't you give me none of your lip, and don't let me hear you giving this gentleman any of it neither, or you hear from me about it. See?
Have you any further advice to give her before you go, Dolittle? Your blessing, for instance?
No, Governor, I ain't such a mug as to put up my children to all I know myself. Hard enough to hold them in without that. If you want Eliza's mind improved, Governor, you do it yourself with a strap. So long, gentlemen.
Stop. You'll come regularly to see your daughter. It's your duty, you know. My brother is a clergyman, and he could help you in your talks with her.
Certainly I'll come, Governor. Not just this week, because I have a job at a distance. But later on you may depend on me. Afternoon, gentlemen. Afternoon, madam.
Do you believe that old liar? He's as serious as a bulldog on him as the clergyman. You won't see him again in a hurry.
I don't want to, Eliza, do you?
Not me. I don't want never to see him again. I don't. He's a disgrace to me. He is. Collecting dust instead of working as trade.
What is his trade, Eliza?
Talking money out of other people's pockets into his own. His proper trade's a navvy. And he works at it sometimes too. For exercise and there's good money on it. Ain't going to call me Miss Doolittle anymore.
I beg your pardon, Miss Doolittle. It was a slip of the tongue.
Oh, I don't mind. At least I'm so genteel. I should like to take a capsy in the corner of Tottenham Court Road and get out there until it waits for me. Just to put the girls in their place a bit. I wouldn't speak to them, you know.
Better wait till we get you something really fashionable.
Besides, you shouldn't cut your old friends now that you have risen in the world. That's what we call snobbery.
You don't call the like of them my friends now, I sure hope. They took it out on me often and off with their vacuum when they had the chance. And now I mean to get a bit of my own back. But if I'm to have fashionable clothes, I'll wait. I should like to have some. Mrs. Pierce said going to give me some to wear in bed at night, different to what I wear in the daytime. But it do seem a waste of money when you could get something to show. Besides, I never could fancy changing into cool things in the winter night.
Now, Eliza, the new things have come for you to try on.
Oh,
Oh, don't rush about like that, girl.
Pickering, we have taken on a stiff job.
Higgins, we have.